Oh, are we live? We're live, okay. What is up with YouTube tonight, but that was just excruciating. And of course, I had my stand sitting. There we go. I think we got it back up, guys. How are you guys? I'm sorry for the terrible lighting. It's, I've got to buy a new stand. Apparently this thing is shot beyond measure. It just keeps falling over every time I touch it. But that's just my luck in it. Let's see. There we go. I think we got it. I think we got the stand propped. So, happy Friday, guys. I hope everyone's doing great. That stand looks like it's fixing to fall. We'll just see what we can do. It's gonna fall. Bear with me, guys. There's always seems to be like a technical difficulties going on when we have a live stream. This stand was perfectly fine, and YouTube started glitching, and I had to fix the video, and then the stand just started glitching too. The stand started glitching too. So go figure. Let's see what I can do. See what I can do to fix the problem, guys. I give up on having a normal live stream where I'm not having like 500 problems and having to look really stupid when I start. Let's see, maybe I've got it propped up. Let's just hope at this point. I didn't even completely know if I was gonna live stream tonight because I just didn't feel like it. Because I haven't been feeling real good, so I was like, oh, I'm not going to live stream, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to live stream, so bear with me. I'm going to try to get to everyone's comments, but I'm working with limited resources tonight, and hey, Todd, and I barely can see who's popping up, so just give me a second. I'm going to get into the live stream and address everybody, and then we'll get into stories. 2020 was different. Hi, whatever dude, and hi Todd, how are you guys doing tonight? Happy Friday. I'm sorry for the terrible lighting. I was trying to give more of an ambience type of feeling. Was gonna go outside and live stream outside. It is cold. It is too cold to live stream outside. I was gonna get a bonfire going, but I didn't have time. I kind of ran out of time because, like I said, I was kind of going back and forth. I was gonna live stream. I wasn't gonna live stream. I didn't feel up to it. My throat's a little sore. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna live stream because I told everybody we're gonna live stream, so we're gonna do this thingy. So, anyway, let's see. Hold on a second. I keep losing the chat. Oh, thank you. Thank you for telling me I'm awesome. I don't feel awesome tonight, but thank you. That means a lot to me. But how are you guys? How are you guys doing on this Friday? I know Fridays are kind of difficult for everyone because it's the beginning of the weekend and you have so much that you want to do and so much that you have planned. For me, I don't know what I have planned other than live streaming tonight. I don't know. I'm trying to find out where everyone's at because I told everybody I was going to live stream like prior to this hours ago. So, I don't know. I probably should, why are you a little annoyed, Todd? Don't mind me. I'm trying to tweak this out. So if I miss your comment, just give me 1 second to get because I have a bunch of people messaging me like, are we still live streaming? Are we not? Are you feeling up to it? So just give me a minute to check on everyone. Hey, Evil, how are you doing? It's going to take it forever for the... This phone is always behind the other phone, so... Oh, the election. Oh, don't get me started on that. Yeah, I'm not feeling real well. I don't know what it is. My throat's sore. I know I don't have the Rona, but I'm just really tired. It's probably my asthma. My asthma acts up different times. And this is one of those times that we get to have asthma act up. I don't need it, don't want it, but it's going to do it anyway. I'm really annoyed by the election right now. I mean, it doesn't take this long to count ballots. It doesn't take this long to figure out what's going on. But I'm not going to get into politics because here on my channel, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's kind of a no judgmental zone area. Usually don't talk about politics because it does, for me, it doesn't offend me. If we don't have the same, political background, that doesn't really bother me. I like listening to everybody's political background. If we're not the same religion, I still want to hear what you want to talk about. I think people get a little too uptight about politics and religion and sexual orientation, and I'm like, you know, this is a no judgment zone. You guys are all free. Nobody should be hated on. So that's one thing about my channel. If we do not have the same background or the same belief system, that does not bother me. I love listening to other people talk. I love listening to other people's ideas and their views and what makes them, you know, what makes them happy. So for me, I don't mind, but some people, you get to talking about politics and they get really, really agitated. So I usually stay off the subject. I know you do, Evil, and I probably totally shouldn't live stream tonight, but you know me, I can't stay away. I've got to do something. So if I can't upload videos, we will live stream, even if I'm not feeling well. It'll be alright. I am actually, Todd, I am looking up right now. I've got at least 5 new places in Alabama that's haunted, and I'm doing research on it. And what I'm really wanting to do at some point, not just do Alabama haunted places, like just have a video where I'm talking about it. I actually at some point think that I'm going to visit these places and discuss the background and stay and see if things happen while I'm there. Right now it's not in the cards because, you know, I work 6 days a week, so and by the time I do get off, I'm too tired. Don't forget, guys, sweet tea. Let's sit down and chat. We have to have the sweet tea to make the day go better. Or Coke or Pepsi or whatever makes you feel better. Right now, I'm drinking water, but we'll just say it's sweet tea because you don't know what's in this glass. So, but I think I'm going to start branching out. There's so many places in that's close to where I live in Alabama and Georgia and Mississippi and Louisiana that have so much rich haunted places that I really think that I'm going to, at some point, starting next year, start visiting these places and doing videos. Since I only have one full off day a week, that's probably how we're going to have to handle that. Or something. We'll figure something out, but I really want to do this. I really want to get into visiting places and not just having a video telling you this and pictures telling you this place is haunted. I actually would like to show you guys, like take you to these places that is haunted. So it's an idea that I would like to pass around. I know, I will, Evil, I promise. I'll be good, Dad. Don't get on to me. I'll research that, Todd, because that's actually interesting. I wonder if they'll let me go there and film, because some places you have to watch, because like there's a courthouse close to where I live that's haunted, but they won't let you film there. So like I might be able to like film from the parking lot with it in the background. They just ideas that I want to pass around, because like maybe an hour from here in Georgia is the Corpsewood Manor. And I did a big video. I mean, it got like 100,000 views. And some girl got her panties in the wad and had it shut down. And it got taken off my channel because of her. And I want to go there and film and talk about it while I film. That way she can't get her panties in a wad. It'll be live footage and she can't take that down. So anyway. All right, Dad. You have to get on to me all the time. I only live stream because I can't get my videos up right now, so I don't want to, you know, not live stream. I'm waiting a little bit for everybody to get into the live stream because I promised you guys funny. I promised you Native American horror stories. So we're going to try to make this big, but I'm going to wait just a little bit to make sure everybody can get in. And I was trying to get a hold of Darkest because he always adds a little extra something to make me nervous through the night. So, okay. And if you are watching and you don't want to join the live chat, that's fine. You can message me privately if you would prefer and ask questions instead of being in the chat. I mean, I know how I am when I go to live streams. I'm a little weird about getting into chats because you never know how it's going to go. But you can private message me, and if you want to ask questions, I will try to get to them, I promise. Or if you have a story that you want read or a topic you want talked about, I'm here. Speaking of which, I need to message somebody real quick and tell them that we are live streaming. There we go. Okay, there we go. I am back. It's bad. You have to sit here and message and everything. I need to start tweeting my live streams, but like I said, I'm not real good with live stream. Twitter. Oh, I can't talk tonight, and I'm gonna try to read stories. We'll be okay. I promise. But if my voice sounds a little off, that's because not feeling good. Thank you, Todd. I'm really glad that you guys do like stuff. I'm trying to branch the channel out. I've been in negotiations with branching the channel out now for a while. The channel, I really want to move it in a direction of different. I want everybody to have something. Because like me, some days I feel like horror, some days I feel like comedy, some days I feel like music. I'm very, very random. And a lot of people that watch the channel seem to be a lot like me, very random, very interested in different things. So gradually we're going to move the channel in a direction of, we're going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to have horror, we're going to have, at some point, instead of reading stories, I'm going to write stories and I'm going to act it out in front of the camera. So we're going to have live, well, not live, but what would be called? Horror movies. So we're going to have movies, we're going to have narrations, we're going to have comedy, because I do want to add some dark comedy to the channel because that's kind of my personality, is I like comedy and I like dark comedy. And then gradually take it into some music, and really at the top of my list is what I would call ghost adventuring or haunted, I don't know, just adventuring, going and finding haunted places and seeing what we can discover, what we can talk about. And I don't know, at some point if I get to traveling, I might be traveling somewhere close to where you're at and can do live meet and greets. Like I said, there's so much that I have planned, and I'm hoping in the next year we can get the ball rolling and get this going because I'm super excited. I am just extremely excited to get a lot of this going. And sorry, my phone froze and I'm not getting everybody's messages. But that's really what I want to do. I want to get this kind of moving to where we have so much and different things. Whether or not we can get it done by the end of this year, I don't know. But by next year, we should get up and rolling and we'll get something going. Hey, Night Companion, how are you? I don't know about that. I don't know if we're going to do that type of stories. Which, speaking of pork skin, just recently I tried my first pork rind. I've never had it before. Apparently that's something in the South a lot of people eat, but I don't. And I finally tried one for the first time, and it was barbecue flavor, and I'm still on the fence about it. It was interesting. It was different. I don't know if it's completely for me. Never know. I might try it again. What do you guys think? Have you guys tried pork rinds since we're talking about pork skin and crunchy? That's the first thing I thought of. Let's try spicy instead. I will have to try that. Really? That's interesting, Todd. I'm going to have to look that up and see how far away it is from me. And see if we can get something, you know. Lemon juice on them too. I never thought about trying that either. I will have to try that. Evil, are you still in the chat? I was just joking. I hope you're not mad at me. I really was. I was just joking. So I hope you're not mad at me. I joke a lot, and sometimes I forget that sometimes my jokes may not be funny. Oh, there we go with the thumping again. Curse you, quit thumping at me. Let's see. And just like I said, guys, bear with me not feeling good. It's been kind of a rough night for me. Oh, okay. Did you go grocery shopping? You didn't tell me you went grocery shopping. I'm going to turn into your mom and start, like, lecturing you. You didn't tell me you were leaving the house and getting groceries. Ooh, did you get me anything while you were out? I don't know. Like I said, I'm still on the fence about pork rinds, but we'll try it. The Covington, I think that's what it's called. Hold on a second. I sometimes feel like I'm the mom of the channel. Let's go back to Todd. The Covington County Jail. I don't. Hold on a second. I'm gonna leave the chat for a second. You got cherry Pepsi. That just makes me sad. I want one. Hold on a second. I'm going to look up the Covington jail. So just give me un momento. It could help if I could spell. I think I spelled it right. Jail. Alabama. Boy, I just like totally butchered spelling that. Okay, I'm trying to see how far away that is from me. Because I don't actually know where Andalusia, Alabama is. Let's see. Give me a second. How far away? Because now I'm like really interested in looking this up. That's it. I'm trying to see how far away it is. Oh gosh, that's a drive. That's like close to Mobile. It's only it's only 3 hours. Boy, the map made it look like it was like a 6-hour drive. That's really not that bad. I was expecting worse. It's 3 to 4 hour drive for me. Okay. I may actually. That might actually be one of the first stops I make because I'm interested. Hey, Outrum, how are you? I am looking up haunted places. We've been sitting here talking about haunted places that I would like to visit. And we're going to start off small, just places closest to me that doesn't require a lot of extra, you know, travel. Because not to be weird or nothing, I've never flown before. So the first time I fly, I'm going to definitely have to fly with someone because I don't have my nerves. If you guys are fans of Supernatural, do you know the episode where Dean and Sam are in a plane and it's going to crash? That is probably how I feel on the inside if I flew. Just going to go ahead and put it out there for you, okay? Let's see. Oh, thank you. I don't want to fly alone. I get nervous. I'm actually not feeling too well out. My throat hurts really bad, and I've just felt really weird all day. And no, I don't think I have the Rona. My asthma. Sorry. My asthma has not been doing real well, and I'm just really tired, and my throat hurts, and I've had a lot of headaches. Other than that, I'm not too bad. This is my son's bed. I was trying to find a spot that I wanted to live stream, and thank you. As you can see, this strand fell from the wall, and high immunity. This strand fell off the wall, and I just kind of left it because I just didn't have time to live stream and put it back on the wall. I was gonna go outside and live stream, and it was cold, and apparently my neighbors are having another Cinco de Mayo party, so we got the sombreros and hats and music and twinkle lights up, so I was like not messing with that. Although I should have. It would have made a great source of entertainment if you could see them. I mean, just white as Christmas out there with sombreros on. Then I was going to do it in the living room, and my mom's cat stalks me, so I am not going to be stalked tonight. So if I'm not live streaming outside, I'm not live streaming in the living room. I was like, my son's room would be great. So this is why we're in a race car bed. It's also very cushy too. I like sitting on this bed. In fact, it makes me want to go to sleep. So in a minute, if I just kind of lean over and fall asleep, just click off the live stream and go on. You're watching Supernatural right now. Oh my gosh. I need to catch up. I'm behind like half a season on Supernatural, and I feel like I don't know what's going on. I have no idea how much these lights cost. I think they were leftover Christmas lights from last year. And my son was like, I want lights. And so this is about the only lights that I could think of that he would get, that he would love, because they love Christmas. So I put them up, and I was like, well, there you go. Let's see how this works. Oh, don't tell me that, Night Companion. No, please don't tell me that. Because, that's one of my fears, is being in a plane and it falling out of the sky or dying, because I've got children that I don't want to leave behind. So, no, I don't think I've heard that song Immunity, but I will look it up now because I'm interested on what it is. What happened to Todd and whatever dude? I hope you guys are still in the chat and you're just listening. Let's see. No, bad phone. Okay, you're lurking. Okay, just making sure everything's okay. I didn't want like you to get upset and leave. Oh my gosh, you're flying to California. I would love to go to California. Like, I really want to travel, and I'm trying to work up the courage to travel in a plane. And I have no idea why I have a fear of flying. Maybe it's just the lack of control, because I'm not a control freak, but I like, it's safer than driving. I could believe that, because today, just on the way home from work, some idiot pulled out in front of me at the last second, and I thank goodness there was nothing in the turn lane, so I could swerve and not hit them. It was pretty scary too, because my heart was. See, that's what I'm hoping for. The first time I fly, I want it to be a short flight, something that I can just work myself into and fly from a small distance, and then gradually work my way up to flying farther and farther away, and then one day fly across the ocean. That made me think of a Pink Floyd song. Sorry. Oh my gosh, Night Companion. Well, I definitely don't feel like flying right now. Don't tell me this stuff. You see it now. I'm going to get like some holy water and be sprinkling that thing down before I get onto it. Immunity, I totally agree. Every time I've had to drive anywhere in Alabama, anywhere in Georgia, and just the little bit I've drove in Florida, gosh. I mean, in Alabama, I can't speak for Georgia because I don't drive as much in Georgia as I do in Alabama. But in Alabama, drivers, it's almost like their brain is on, they're sitting on their brain. Like it's literally sitting under their butt as they're driving. I don't understand their logic. They don't know what a turn signal is. They speed when they're supposed to be slower, and they're slow when they're supposed to be able to go faster. They apparently think you're a mind reader and just do whatever the heck they want to do while you're driving, while they're driving. They text and eat and talk to Susan in the next seat next to them and swerve all over the road and then flip you off. And in Florida, everybody drives like it's the Autobahn. I mean, I'm not joking. Every time I've been in Florida, I've had people like stare at me like, why am I doing 100 miles an hour? So, oh yes, they need, and figure out, there's 2 things on their car that they don't, well, 3 things on their car they don't understand. A blinker, the gas pedal, and the brake pedal. They don't know what those 3 do, apparently. Because, anyway, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'm so glad both of my parents are not from Alabama and they taught me how to drive, because these people around here, I'm trying to, I was going to say something and I forgot what I was going to say. Oh gosh, don't tell me that, because I was gonna drive to Texas or fly to Texas, because was it Darkest was telling me about a haunted place in Texas, and I was like, dude, I'll fly to Texas just so we could all meet up and do some lurking around haunted stuff. So, oh yes, you need to let the doggy out. I think Mom's letting my dog out right now. I think it's my dog. I'm pretty sure my dog has abandoned me for my mom, and my mom's cat follows me around, and I don't want her. I want my doggy back. Give me my floofy. I forgot what we were joking about. My brain's not working too good tonight. I'm serious. I should have drank a bunch of caffeine before this live stream started. But I figured, I didn't know what we were going to do. I thought about doing some Skinwalker stories. I don't know if you guys are interested in that, because it's Friday and we've all had a long day. All of us probably have worked today in the live stream. So, don't get me. I'll be good. I promise. Okay, you can get on to me if I can have a cherry Pepsi. As long as I can sip me some cherry Pepsi, then you can get on to me later. I don't care. Okay, just be kind. I've worked all day and I'm tired and I don't feel good. Okay. No, they don't say that. The one they usually say is, I haven't the foggiest of what's going on. Or, what's another one? Lord, there's so many sayings, and I'm learning them. Like, I've lived here all my life. I was born and raised here. But some of their sayings I don't understand. Like, I'm proud for her, and the winders, and yeller, and vehicle. It's not a car or an SUV. It's a vehicle. So you need to roll them winders on that vehicle. And I hope to goodness ain't yeller too. And what was it? Today at work, one of the women I work with, she was talking, and half of what she was saying. Okay. Sorry. I truly think I'm getting sick, but anyway. Scary plane stories. That's not I can probably even handle roll down the window. But it's usually, hey, roll down that window. It's hot in here. And you're like, and I can't even fully talk like them. They drop syllables in their words, and I'm just like, okay, why? So I'm still learning. She had like this whole lingo today she was going through, and I was just like, I'm serious. I just found myself going, I don't know what you're saying. Are you speaking English? Were you raised in a barn? Yeah, shut that there door. You raised in a barn? You act like you had no raising. Now, why you hanging out that window? Kids don't got a brain. God gave a goose. I'm trying to think of things that I've been yelled at from Southern lingo. Oh, honey, just let me tell you something. The other day, Janie was out there. I don't know what I don't know what she was doing. She was hanging out there. She just all over the place. I can't tell you. She's just shaking and jiggling. It just bothered me. I mean, it just blew my mind. And she's going on, and I'm just like, it's fascinating listening to two older women talk in their lingo. And of course, me and my cousin would just sit there and look at my mama and other people, and we would be like, I don't know what in the hay they're talking about, but this is kind of fascinating. Now it'd be great if they would talk about it and we could TikTok it. Hey, Midnight, how are you? Oh, I do too. One of the best live streams I was in was I was just talking like I normally do, and certain words do trigger my accent a little bit more. Most of the time, like around here, I constantly get asked, when did you move here? And I'm like, I didn't move here. I was born and raised. I don't believe that. You don't sound like you're from here. And I'm like, I am. Anyway, so I was in a live stream talking like I am right now. Don't really have an accent. It was going on, and something triggered. I think I got really agitated. And all of a sudden I was just talking, and a southern accent came out, and everybody was just like, who's that on the live stream? And I think it was Darkest. He was like, that's Lily. And they're like, no, that's not Lily. She don't sound like that. And I was like, oh, honey child, just let me tell you for a moment what I sound like when I'm not trying to pretend like I ain't from the South. Oh, it's not bless you, child. Well, it's usually, oh, bless your heart. You just so mistreated, child. Oh, bless you. Oh, bless that poor baby. Did you see what happened to her? I mean, they just go into it, and you're just like over there going. And bless your heart in the South can mean a multitude of things. Just depends on the tone that they're using with you. Now, if she's like, oh my goodness, bless you. Bless your heart. Like, but then when they get into that sarcasm, oh, bless your heart, sweet child. They're giving you some attitude then. I mean, simple phrases in the South can mean 15 different things. I'm learning that. Sarcasm, I'm becoming very well versed in sarcasm. I love the photo of I can't talk at all tonight. I thought it would be great to use it, and I thought everybody would like it. I'm going to put in the description later, because my thingy died. I'm going to put in the description of who drew it. Yes, Midnight is an amazing drawer. I have to show you next time we live stream. I'll bring some of the drawings that she has, that she's like given me. Bear with me, guys. Like I said, I'm having issues tonight. Yes, bless your heart. Depending on the tone, depends on what they mean. They could be looking at you and be completely serious. Oh, bless your heart, my poor child. I'm so sorry. But when they start getting that attitude, oh, bless your heart. You know, and they start making those little gestures with their hands. It becomes an insult real quick. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how many times I've said bless your heart and I totally meant it as an insult. Oh my gosh, I had a bad day today. Just let me tell you. And you're sitting over there going, oh, bless your heart. I bless you. I'm so sorry. And I'm finding myself becoming very well versed in sarcasm and insults. Because for the South being so genteel and so respectable, we sure are rude. In a nice way. We are rude in a nice way. Hey Boggs, how are you doing? Yes, immunity. You're just that dumb. Yes. Yeah. But anyway, I'm just thinking, I'm just thinking of different things I've heard women around here say. And it's usually the women that are the funniest. Southern women are the funniest on lingo. I mean, they just, oh, you go pay for your raisin. Well, what is wrong with you? I mean, they drop syllables, and I'm just over there like, it's like the Twilight Zone. It's like, what's going on here? These people can't even speak good English. And then try to tell me that I don't have proper grammar. Very true, immunity. Very true. Southern hospitality. It's really up for interpretation. Me and a girl at work the other day was strongly talking about raising. And we were talking about different age groups. And she's older than me. So she was talking about her age group. How when we were kids, you didn't sass your mom. If you said one wrong thing, you probably going to have your teeth knocked out. One of my things my dad said to me is, don't you ever disrespect your mother or me and you will have issues. And I'm a girl. My dad said that to me. Don't you disrespect your mother. We'll be talking about it. So, but something happened, like the generation born after me, they had, like, I know their mamas had to have raised some of these boys and girls better than the way they act. But I came from the generation of my mom heard I did something wrong. I probably wouldn't be seeing you tomorrow. Just going to let you know. And I may have already had false teeth if I kept up some of it. So I know everybody thinks that in the South that everybody drinks sweet tea. In fact, it's actually like a running joke on my channel. When I start stuff, I'm like, hey, you guys want some sweet tea? And what's sad is inside my glass is never sweet tea. It's always like coffee, soda. And that's another thing. I just realized the other day, living in the South, you do not say soda. Everything is a Coke. You look at somebody saying, go get me a Coke. And I guess you're supposed to be psychic to know what kind of Coke they want. I was always raised with soda. Like, hey, can you get me a soda? And then they say, what kind? And you say, Pepsi, Coke, whatever. So in the South, everybody thinks that sweet tea is a big deal. It's really not. There's just as many people who drink tea like I do. Tea with lemon. So I slowly sip my water and digress. Let's see. I like Gatorade. What's your favorite flavor of Gatorade? Well, your mom shouldn't have beat. I don't think moms should beat their kids for no. I don't think your mom should beat you for any reason. But I mean, like when I was a kid, my parents had this thing like they had the authority. I knew they had the authority, so I didn't test the authority. As long as I didn't pay bills at home. Because I knew that I would get in trouble. My parents didn't actually have to beat the crap out of me for me to realize that. I didn't want to test the theory because I was smart enough that I didn't want to get grounded or have the crap beat out of me. So younger generations don't seem to get that. You like look at them and they're just like, she made it funny. She said she was gonna whoop me, and I'm thinking, I didn't make it funny. I'm fixing to throw down. Don't you talk to me that way. This is why I can't work with kids sometimes, because kids, like, they throw down at, like, young ages now, so. I'm glad you say so did too, Midnight. That makes me feel better. Yeah, now further up north, they call it pop. So you have different places. Apparently up north, it's pop. In between up north and the south, it's soda. And down here in the south, it's Coke or sweet tea. That's your options, Coke or sweet tea. And it's kind of like a mystery. You'll say Coke and who knows what you're going to get. You may actually get a Coke. You may actually get something else. Never going to know. It's a mystery. Well, that's sad, Evil. I'm sorry. Yes, in the South, words, this is totally off topic of what we were going to do tonight. I'm sorry. It took me a long time that, like, wash is like W-A-S-H. Here in the South, 90% of people say wash. And I never noticed it. I mean, I never noticed that people say wash. And so, like, I was in college, and I was dating this guy, and he was an English / journalist major. And I was talking about something, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get my car washed. And he stopped and he looked at me. Now, mind you, he's born in the South too, and raised. And he looked at me and he's like, you're going to what your car? And I go, I'm going to wash it. And he goes, you're going to what it? And I'm like, I'm going to wash it. And he goes, how do you spell wash? And I go, W-A-S-H. He's like, then pray tell, where does the R come in? Let me put it this way. I never wanted to beat somebody so bad in my life. Because then after that, I spent days where I was like, I'm going to wash the car. I'm going to wash the laundry. And I was like, I would be like, what? It took him forever for me to understand what he was saying. Because he'd be like, say it with me. Wash. Wash. And I'm like, you're a total a-hole. Okay? You're just being mean to me now. But I don't say it anymore. I say wash. I don't say wash anymore. Of course, I drove my parents nuts because my dad did say wash. And I'm like, it's wash. So I became a jerk to him. So I just passed down the jerkiness. So... Oh yes, the pick your own switch. My parents never used switches. They tried to use things that didn't leave marks. But yeah, I had to go pick my whooping of choice. And I'm like, can I just get grounded? I don't know how many times I took grounding because I just didn't want the whooping. You have a choice. Your friend can spend the night, but you get a whooping, or your friend cannot spend the night, and that's your punishment. Friend's not spending the night. Sorry, love you sis, but you ain't spending the night. I ain't getting a whooping. And here in the South, like, you say, like, you're going to get a spanking. Like, most people say, hey, you're going to get spanking if you keep that. Here in the South, you have 4 different versions. You're going to get a whooping. You're going to get a hooping. You're going to get switched. And then there's, like, you're going to get I'll be clean because this is YouTube. You're going to get a butt whooping. So in the South, it just depends on how angry your mom is and what you're going to get when she gets that angry. So, good luck, my friend. Oh yes, they actually have special trees in the South that make perfectly good little flimsy branches that switch. I mean, it's like a whip. It's and it wraps around the leg and switches you on both sides. I used to feel sorry for my friends because my parents didn't use switches. If it left marks, they didn't use it. But here in the South, they make you, like, I'm going to go get a switch. And them suckers, I mean, they just, whoosh, whoosh. I mean, you can hear it flying through the air and smacking a child's skin. And I'm just like, and see, the world we live in now with, like, child abuse, I'm shocked people in the South don't have more cases of child abuse because that switch just wraps around and switches you. And you're just like, I mean, I feel bad for the kid when I see parents switching their kids. I have a switch, but I don't actually use it. It's just it's a tactic in public so my kids don't embarrass me. I will use it. Yeah, here in the South, very rarely do you find people who carry Pepsi products. It's usually Coke products, so I guess I could see why they're like, you want a Coke. Because we don't have nothing else. It's Coke, Pepsi, or any of those products. I mean, Coke or Dr. Pepper, but if it's Pepsi, you're just up a creek. I'm going to whip you. My personal funny one was my mama. I'm going to hoop you. You're going to what me? And then she would yell it again. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure she's getting angry. We're just going to work with this and go with it. Give you a hooping? That sounds like it's contagious. Do you need a doctor? Let's see. Ooh, I'm glad I've never heard them use sugar canes where I'm at. So apparently that's something that's working out of style. Oh, paddling, yes. That to me, I think, is more of a Yankee type term. You're gonna get a paddling. Down the South, man, they're just like, I'm just going to beat your butt. Come here. I mean, they don't hold no bars in the South. You're just going to die. I'm going to beat you until the next life. Don't you roll them eyes at me. I'll roll them down the hallway. Girl, I know you ain't talking to me. You're going to be looking for your teeth. So, yeah. In the South, they get colorful with their threats. I think up north, they get right to the point. You're just going to get a whooping, okay? In the South, we got to get theatrical. And then we wonder why a lot of us in the South could be actresses. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, the whooping. Oh gosh, I didn't know that, Boggs. I didn't know that. I'm from the South and I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Mom, I want a Switch. I'll give you Switch. Not that Switch, Mom. I meant the Nintendo. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is one of the sayings that parents say back in the day that I hate. They'll give you a whooping and then say, you better hush that mouth. I'll give you something really to cry about. Dude, you already did. You don't got to do it again. Please. I'll be good, Mom. My phone's stuck. Bad phone. Bad. Oh gosh, Boggs. That's scary. A plank of wood with holes drilled in it. That just sounds horrifying. Oh gosh, midnight. I'm so glad I'm not in school anymore. I don't miss that junk. Yes, it's okay. You're not late, Daniel. You're fine. Yeah, back when I was a kid, parents didn't threaten you. It was, you knew the rules, and by a certain age, if you didn't understand it, you gonna get it. My dad had a specific look for me. Like, we would be in church, and I knew that I wasn't supposed to talk when the preacher was talking. But I have a big mouth, and I talk a lot. If I'm in a good mood, I talk way too much. And if I'm not in a good mood, I don't talk at all. So I scare people either way. Either talk way too much or I don't talk enough. Either way, I freak people out. But anyway, we were sitting up there and it's by the piano. And like I would try to hide that I was talking. So I would put my hand over my mouth, kind of lean and talk. And one of us had the monkey shines. I don't remember exactly what happened, but we all started laughing. And I'm like trying to hide it. I'm like, because I know if my dad sees it, and he's sitting catty cornered, like he can see me. Oh my gosh, my dad had one look that did the job. He would just kind of, and he wore glasses, so he'd kind of look a little bit over his glasses and he'd just stare at me. And next thing you just see me. At some point, I wanted to stand up and interrupt the entire church service and be like, pray for me, because I'm going to get beat when I go home. So, back when I was a kid, parents could say one thing or look at you, and you knew. Like for me, my dad had a look. I got that look. I ceased and desist whatever I was doing and calmly sat down and just went and didn't look at him anymore because I was hoping he'd forget. My mom would yell out my entire name. And depends on how much of my name she used. Depends on how much if I was trouble. If I got the Lily, okay, she's semi-agitated, I got a little time. Lily C. I don't know how much more of this I can push before I do get a whooping. And then Lily C. Nation. And you could tell by the way she emphasized the last of my name that how bad the whooping was going to be. She also had the finger snap. And you'd be like, don't know who she's snapping at, but I ain't gonna do what I'm doing anymore. And also my mom would get like a in her throat, like she was holding back evil. I'm not joking. She would literally like just get a in the middle of her sentence. Like there was anger and evil hiding in her throat, and that I had pushed it so bad that she was holding the demons at bay from killing me. So I pretty much knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, how far you could push it before the whooping got there. These kids nowadays, they think it's a game. Hey, Mom, I'm getting on your nerves, aren't you? And I'm like, maybe we need to go back to more whoopings with the switches and see what happens. I don't know. These kids ain't scared of nothing. I will follow you back. I have not been on Twitter, Daniel. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not good with Twitter. I just don't get it on very much. Yeah, good thing you don't have that teacher, Midnight. Oh gosh, Boggs, did you go to like a Catholic school? Because when you bring up paddling and religious private schools, you make me think of my mom. My mom went to a private Catholic school. And she can tell you some stories that made me go, I'm so glad my parents loved me and didn't do that to me. Yes, Midnight. I can always tell when you're in trouble just by the way your mom's face scares me. She's just that look. Oh, my dad never said my name. He never got on to me. It was a look, and if that look didn't curb it, I was going to get it when I got home. So I knew with my dad, I didn't push it as much. With my mom, there was degrees that I could push it. So I used to be a sterner parent until a lot of junk happened in our house, and I became the more relaxed parent to make up for the other parent being a holy terror. So now I gotta find my footing to be in the middle. Like, I'm not a holy terror, but I'm also not so relaxed that my kids are just like, she's joking type of attitude. Okay. Alright, guys. Do we want to do stories tonight? Because I don't know if we just want to chat because it's Friday and be relaxed, or do you guys want to do Skinwalker stories? I'm not really sure. I did some research. I didn't do a whole lot because I just didn't have time. to do as much as I needed to do. So it's really up to you guys. I always leave the live streams what you kind of want to do more than what I want to do, because I'm up for anything. So you guys kind of don't be like a date that says, I don't care where we eat, and then tell me you don't want to eat anywhere that I pick. So you guys have to give me ideas, or I'll just ramble for another 2 hours. Oh gosh, Boggs. Again, I'm not going to get into religion, because politics, religion, and sexual orientation I stay out of, because I don't know, I don't want to offend anybody with my ideas. So I try to stay out of it. I'm very relaxed. I just don't like judgmental people who try to push their ideas onto you. That's my biggest pet peeve. I believe that we can have different opinions, different interests, and still be able to be adult enough, because I love listening to other people. I love listening to other people's ideas and what they think, their opinion on something, because I'm not so narrow-minded that I can't look at other people's ways, thoughts, how they feel. I like it, because there's been times I've talked to people and they started talking and I was like, gosh, I never thought of it that way. Gosh, that's really awesome. That's really interesting. But if you have a narrow mind, you're going to miss out on so much more. And so I try to stay out of stuff because I have a very open mind, and a lot of people don't like that. I've been told that I'm just too relaxed or too open-minded for stuff. And I don't know. I'm not a judgy person. I don't like getting into judging. So anyway, people do get very offended nowadays. I think we should be able to talk to each other and be like, this is what I think, but what do you think? And kind of compare, because you'll find that sometimes people may have different ideas than you, but they're very interesting ideas, and they make you think, and they perplex, and they open your mind, and they get you to using what's up in here instead of like, this is what we're going to do and this is it. So oh, wow, I wouldn't have told that teacher that midnight. Not at all. Huggle's evil. You're awful quiet tonight, Evil. What's wrong? Talk to me. What's wrong? I don't like it when you're quiet. Makes me curious. Is there something wrong? Are you upset? Are you mad? Do you not feel good? Are you tired? What's going on? Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, Friday. For some reason, I kept thinking this was Friday the 13th. You know, come to think of it, we have a Friday the 13th this month. Hey Todd, I was wondering if you were okay. I hadn't seen you in the chat. I was hoping you were okay. We have a Friday the 13th next week. Oh my gosh, I have a court date the day before Friday the 13th. I surrender. Leave me alone, Friday the 13th. Ooh, I think I've got a TikTok I can put up for it. I think I can. I've got my Jason mask and everything. I think I've got a TikTok for it. Just need to edit it. I agree with that statement, Boggs. It's okay to get a little offended. It's okay to be able to look at somebody and be like, hey, you know. But I think people push it. Like, everybody should have boundaries. Everybody should realize that there's just some things you can't do or say, especially in public. But nowadays people get overly offended. Like, if you have a different idea than me, then me and you can't be friends. We can't talk. And I think that's ridiculous. I think we can have different opinions and listen to each other and maybe sort through like, well, hey, in the end, if we don't have the same opinion, we can look at each other and say, agree to disagree, and let's change the subject. But nowadays, everybody is just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. You don't believe like me. And then they kind of degrade you for not believing what they believe. Everybody's not the same. So it does bother me. And we kind of, in the South, to a certain degree, people, not everyone, but there's a lot of people that are very judgmental and very one note type of ideas. And I guess maybe that's why it bothers me, because I love listening to other people talk. I love hearing what they think. Even if I don't agree with it. But it's the way you talk about it. I mean, you can talk about how you feel or your opinions or your ideas and not be a jerk about it. Because I have talked to other people that the way they talked and the way they carried themselves did make me feel offended. And I took everything I had not to get mad about what they were saying. I don't have a Facebook page. I did, and I deleted it because I just couldn't. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Yes, it is. The victim card. I noticed this, like, right now with the court battle I'm fighting. The other person did all these bad things, and they're playing the victim card. You're hurting me, and you made this up about me, and you did this, and I'm like, dude, I didn't do nothing. I don't have time to sit here and become an actress and play out my lines to make you look bad. You did it all on your own without me helping you. Don't you dare say that I did. But that's how, and I don't know if it's just a Southern thing or if it's just it's all over the world, but it's whoever gets their story out, who's the best at convincing everybody, and who could be more dramatic about it. So, I don't like judgment of people either. I did look up Covington Jail. It is actually, I think, 3.5 hours from me, Todd, and I'm actually really super interested in it. No, I really truly believe, like you said, Boggs, people in the South, I don't think they actually hide that they're judgmental. I mean, really, they don't. I point blank had somebody not too long ago legitimately looked at me and was like, well, I mean, just judged me for something that was out of my control that I had nothing to do about. But because the other person was going around telling everybody that I did all these bad things, they point blank looked at me and was like, I feel sorry for you. I kind of felt like they were trying to tell me that I was going to go to torment. I'm trying to keep the channel clean because I never know what age demographic it's on tonight. But Flat told me, like, basically I was going to torment, and I was just like, but yeah, here in the South, I don't think people actually give two hoops and a holler if they're judgmental to you. So yeah, that's usually me, Daniel. I try to do the forgive and forget. And then if they're really that bad, I just stay away from them because I don't need drama in my life. Not at all. No, you guys can. You guys can say whatever you want. I'm talking about me. Because in the chat, you guys can say whatever you want. To a degree. I mean, I don't want you guys, you know, I don't care what you guys say in the chat. Me, because YouTube flagged a video the other day because I said a word that they felt offensive. So I just watch what I say. Because one, alright, let me explain this. I had explained this the other day at work, and I guess I'll explain it on my channel. They were asking me a lot of personal questions at work the other day. Hey, whatever, dude. Speaking of which, I probably need to take a shower later too myself. Anyway, don't get me off track. I had, like, at work they were asking me a gazillion questions like, why do you wear certain clothes? Why do you not do this? Why do you not cuss? And, like, they literally got into it, like, is this, like, a religious thing? And I point blank, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't cuss because I have children. I'm trying to set an example for them. When they get older, if they cuss, that's up to them. But I'm just trying to set an example for them. So I don't care if you guys cuss. It don't bother me none. But most of the time I don't cuss because I've got kids, and I'm trying to be a good example for my children. The way I dress is just what I like to wear. Whatever I want to wear is what I'm going to wear. So if it's not a religious thing, it's just what I like. The same as how what you wear is probably what you like. Drinking, I don't drink because I had a grandfather that was an alcoholic. And I grew up hearing the stories, the horror stories of what did to the family, and how it hurt people, and how it hurt him, and how it broke up his marriage, how it almost ruined his second marriage. I've read in several cases that it's a toss-up that addiction is passed in the genes. I just don't want to be that person. I don't want to tear my family apart because of addiction. So it's not a religious thing, and it's not telling you guys that you can't do it. It's just my personal peeve. You guys can cuss. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I didn't have fear that my kids would pick up, I would probably be more free with my language. Also, my demographics according to YouTube range from I think 13 to like 42-ish. So it's a pretty big open demographic. So I just try to keep it clean on my part. You guys are fine. I'm not telling you guys no. I'm not telling you guys keep it clean. I mean, if Darkest was in here, you'd be talking about butts and spiders. So you're fine. Let's see. I can understand that, Boggs. I can totally understand that. Give me a second, guys. I know one thing. You would get some retarded comments anymore, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. I'm sorry, like I said at the beginning of this, and if you're watching Gooberhead, this isn't a strictly clean and professional area. We don't judge, we're not rude, and if you're rude, there's the door, okay? So, and I'm pretty sure you have something to do with my ex, and if that's the case, good luck and Godspeed and God bless. I don't really have time for that junk, so I'm just not in the mood. So, plus if that's the best you got, it's not good enough, sorry. Because if that's the best you got, I feel sorry for you, cave dweller. Anyway, that was the best. That was probably some of the best entertainment for the night. Thank you. That was actually pretty awesome. That made me laugh. Anyway, like I said, guys, you guys have probably heard it 1,000 times. There's really not much you can say to me that offends me or hurts my feelings, because I've said worse to myself. So if you can't beat what I say to myself, dude, you can't. Mm-mm. So, I don't know, Midnight. Yeah, and to be honest with you guys, I'm sorry, I'm getting tickled. Things like that don't bother me. It really don't. So, if that was supposed to make me offended or hurt my feelings and make me shed a couple of tears, you're actually freaking hilarious, and thank you, because that was the laugh I needed to get my night started. But anyway, guys, we were supposed to read Skinwalker stories. Are we still wanting to do that? Because the numbers keep jumping from 3 to 10 to 15 to 3. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if YouTube's glitching, which is very plausible. But, Alright, so I'm going to leave the chat. So, Outrum, if you're still in the chat, and Evil, if you're still in the chat, man down the forts. Man it down. So, alright, let me pull open. I looked up some things that I thought you guys might be interested in. We were talking about skinwalkers, and I went looking up different things. So, I found about, it's about people telling terrifying encounters from wait, no, that's not what I wanted. I have several things open, sorry guys, that I sat down and started writing different things and kind of combining, and I'm trying to find it on my phone. Just give me a second. Because the sad thing is I looked it up on that phone and I'm on a different phone. So, let's just try this. And my phone glitched. See, this is the kind of things this is why I don't read live stories, because if something's going to happen, it will happen to me when I'm trying to do this. So, here we go. And hopefully I pronounce it right. It's called the Yenodushi is watching me. Are you guys ready? These are supposed to be true, disturbing, and terrifying encounters from Navajo skinwalkers. So here we go. My grandmother on my mother's side has always been very superstitious. For lack of a better word, she's not religious, but she does believe in a lot of paranormal stuff. Her mother was full-blooded Navajo, and her father was Irish. Hold on, guys. What are you doing in here? No, I'm on the... No. No. Sorry. We'll go back. Anyway, her mother was full-blooded Navajo, and her father was Irish. Either way, she's never been anywhere east of Montana, and she grew up in Nevada. Wait a minute, that sentence makes no sense, but we'll go with it. Okay. One year when I was in grade school, we went to visit her. Most of the visit was pretty uneventful, typically boring old people stuff. Except, she always kept her curtains drawn shut and would always peek out the window. And when someone asked what she was doing, she would simply reply, "The Yenodushi is watching me." This went on for nearly the entire visit, until a few days before we were due to leave. My grandmother and my then baby brother, which is now 19, were in the front yard that evening, planting flowers, when all of a sudden, my grandmother starts shouting, insert my little brother's name here, "Get away from that creature! It's not safe!" Of course, being in Nevada, we all assumed that my brother had found a scorpion or a rattlesnake. So we all ran outside to see my grandmother clutching my little brother and shaking in terror against the side of the house. Standing out in the yard was a large, black, Great Dane-sized dog. It was staring at my grandmother with an intensity I had never seen before. It looked up at us, gave us a little huff, and bounded off. I don't remember if it moved unnaturally fast or not, but I do remember it had really deep yellow eyes. When my mother asked my grandmother what had happened, she kept repeating, "The Yenodushi was found me." She moved a couple weeks after that. Alright, that was the first story, guys. So I'm going to go back to the chat and see what I've missed. Let's see. Hello, Emmanuel. How are you? So what do you guys think about that? Holy crap. We went from like 15 people watching to 1. I think YouTube's screwing with me tonight. I really believe that. Anyway. How's it spelled? Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can spell it. It's Y. Let me just type it in. Hold on. Because it's going to take me too stinking long. Copy. There we go. Just give me a sec. It must be glitching because there's more than one person in the chat. So I think it's and I probably said it too quick. I think it's pronounced the Yanola Lushi, whatever. I think there's more than one person because I've seen 4 or 5 different people message in the chat, so there's more than one person watching. But I think YouTube's just messing with me like it usually does. So we are all good. All right, let's go to the next story. This one's entitled "On the Res Alone at Night." My uncle and cousin saw a large deer on the side of the road. When they got closer to it, it hopped over the fence like a bipedal man. One time driving back from Gallup, my dad saw an old Navajo woman walking on the side of the road. And when he slowed to offer her a ride, she took off into the plains, quickly with an inhuman speed. Once, when I was a kid, my family was at my aunt's house, which is in a rural, secluded area. Lord, this person does not know what commas are. Just give me a second. See if I can fix that sentence. Once when I was a kid, my family was at my aunt's house, which is in a rural, secluded area, when we were toyed with by a few entities. They would make animal noises, and when we looked to the direction from which the noises were coming from, they would turn a flashlight on and off. The noises would come from all directions, and in increasingly shorter succession. Usually, when I'm there on this reservation visiting, alone late at night, I will feel the presence of an evil, and dread and panic and paranoia will wash over me. And as sudden as it comes, it will leave. That was the story? That was kind of boo. That one was really bad. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't read any of these before looking them up. So this is kind of a blind reading. Wish I would have read that one before we started, because that one was boo. Anyway, let's go to the next one. They ran away on their back legs. Okay, so this happened about 12 years ago. My family owns a farm in the heart of an Indian reservation. One winter, I was home for Christmas, taking care of the farm while my parents were away Christmas shopping. As I was home by myself, way late in the night, I could hear all of our cows freaking out. I knew it had to be the wild dogs that were rampant on the area. So I throw on some boots, grab my shotgun, load it up, and head out to the field. This was a perfect scenario for a horror movie. It was cloudy out there, and it was a full moon. And it was breaking through the clouds just right to light up all the snow. I ran out into the middle of the field, and just in time I see 2 dogs. They were standing up facing each other and fighting. I think perfect 2 for 1. So I pump a shell into the chamber of Mr. 12 gauge, and then it happened. The 2 dogs heard the rack. They both stopped, looked over at me, and ran away on their back legs. Immediately I froze. and every ghost story about skinwalkers and all other native legends I grew up. I am a white guy, and up until then, these were all just boogeyman stories that the native kids like to tell to scare us. That night, they became real to me. Ew. I don't know what to take that. I mean, if I had a 12 gauge, I don't know if I would be as scared, or maybe I would be. Oh, tell the baby I said hi. It does sound Russian. I'm gonna be honest with you. When the Yenol Dushi does. I was really shocked. I was thinking, what's Ravenmocker? Posted what video? Okay, hold on a second. I'm confused. I know. Alright, let's go to the next story. Oh gosh, this is like the longest title in the world. It had a dog's body, but with human hands and feet. I'm sorry, I'm getting a mental picture of this. It had a dog's body, but with human hands and feet. Can't unsee that one now. Let's go with it. I was spending a month with my cousins at my grandma's house. It was August, and my cousins' age ranged from 10 to 15. And I was the oldest, being the 15. I was staying with a 10, 13, and 14-year-old. Okay, we get it. Let's go on from the ages. We stayed up telling stories often, but one night a few weeks in, we decided to make a campfire out back. My grandma's house is in a rural suburb. The neighbors aren't too far from your driving down the road to her. Gosh, my grandma's house is in a rural suburb. The neighbors aren't too far when driving down the road to her house. But in the backyard, it's thick forest with man-made paths through it. Just give me a second. This is some of the worst writing I've ever read. Each house is on a hill, so only part of the basement was actually underground. This isn't important until later, though. So we're towards the east side of our yard. Okay, I'm done. I'm not reading this story. This is some of the worst writing I've ever. I'm just skipping it. I'm not going to sit here and rewrite this person's story for them. Okay. I'm going to take a break, guys, because after that story, that just bothered my mind so severely. This is the bad thing about narrating. You will discover way too many people who do not write or do not proofread. It's terrible. I'll have to check it out, Daniel, because that's interesting. Yeah, the title definitely is a preview. Whew. All right, I'm gonna go back. I try to check the chat every couple of minutes and kind of twitch around. So just give me a second. I'm gonna find a different site because these stories are just so bad. I can't do it. So, all right. All right, here we go. This one looks promising. Let's see what we got here. Cracks knuckles and let's go. I'm not doing Reddit. I'm not. These are not from Reddit. These are stories from like the Graveyard Shift, Ranker, Pinterest, and some stories that I've actually got from people around here. So I'm not big on Reddit. I don't usually, Reddit's not my first choice for stories anymore. All right, this one's entitled maybe trying to hit it wasn't the best idea. Okay. My father owns a small delivery service that operates out of Farmington, New Mexico. We mostly deliver small packages out in the middle of nowhere that are too much of a hassle for the large delivery companies to bother with. My dad is the only employee, and we have a few pickup trucks and a trailer. One day we get a delivery out to Window Rock, Arizona, on the Navajo reservation about 2 hours from Farmington. My dad gets the call for the job while he is chilling with his Navajo friend, Travis, and his girlfriend. Travis mentions how he's got a family in Window Rock and he hasn't seen in ages and suggests that he would go with him. I was about 6 or 7 at the time, and it was the summertime, so Dad decided we would go down together. Well, it's like I got pop-up. There we go. Alright. We had to convoy in separate trucks since my dad has a loaded down with the freight. He decided to bring along some walkie-talkies so we could communicate with one another. So I'm going to assume that this story is before cell phones, because if you need walkie-talkies, then apparently they don't have cell phones. Just go ahead and make that observation for you guys. We spend our time in Window Rock. Everything's generally uneventful, and we start heading home along the old highway with my dad and I in the front and Travis and his girlfriend and their truck behind us. I honestly don't remember most of the Window Rock trip, but this next part I can never forget. We're somewhere on the highway between Window Rock and Gallup, New Mexico. It had just rained earlier in the day and the road was kind of slick, so we were taking it pretty slow. On the left of the highway, there is nothing but sandstone cliffs, and on the right there's a huge field separate from the road by a small barbed wire fence. We crest the top of the hill, and down at the bottom of the hill we see what appears to be a very large dog, sitting back on its haunches in the middle of the road facing the cliffs. My dad calls over the radio, "Hey Trav, do you see how big that dog is?" Travis starts yelling back over the radio, "That's not a dog. Speed up right now and hit it." Hold on a second, you have to hit it. Please, please hit the freaking thing right now. So my dad starts to speed up, and as we get a bit closer, I can begin to see a little more clearly. It's covered in this brown, wiry, matted hair that appears to have dry blood all over it. It's still facing the cliffs, but the moment our headlights hit it, it turns and looks at us, and has a face. I don't know how else to describe other than a mix between a bear's and a human's face. It looks twisted and distorted, almost in pain. As we get closer to this thing, it starts to realize it's actually really big. Though it was still sitting on its haunches, it was about shoulder height with the hood of the truck. We get literally inches from hitting it when it lets out this scream that sounds like someone screaming as their lungs were filling with water, and it leaps backwards and towards the field, landing just on our side of the barbed wire fence. Then with another leap, it was gone from sight. Travis comes over the radio again. "Holy crap, just keep driving. We have to get out of here. We have to go faster." He kept repeating that last part. "We have to get out of here. We have to go faster. We have to get out of here. We have to go faster." Pretty soon, we are speeding like crazy. And just as we start to come near the outskirts of Gallup, we get pulled over. Travis pulls his truck over with us. Naturally, this makes the cop, a Navajo man, himself very on edge, and immediately asks why Travis felt the need to pull over as well. Travis says, "We just saw a skinwalker a few miles back, and it's been following us." The officer immediately turns white, stammers something about verbal warning, gets in the car and takes off. We do the same. We didn't see anything else that night, but when we got home, Travis refused to let us leave without taking some kind of Navajo totem thing that was supposed to keep it away. Oh gosh, guys, what do you think about that story? I don't know. Driving at night already bothers me, but just the fact that, oh my gosh. Whew. I don't know. Do I drink coffee? Yes, I do drink coffee. Well, I don't know, be careful, I guess, now, Boggs, going through Gallup. Apparently, skinwalkers just roam freely. Because after that story, if it's 100% true, I mean, the site says that these are true skinwalker stories. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? It to me bothers me, especially with the point where it says that it followed them to the point where the cop pulls them over. That bothers me, because I mean that's saying that skinwalkers apparently think more than, they're not just some type of creature, they think. So, but yes, Todd, to answer your question, I do drink coffee. I'm gonna ask, is my reading that bad that everybody thinks that I'm on coffee right now? Because I'm not on coffee right now. I haven't had coffee since this morning. So I would have probably went to shoot it, like hit it with my vehicle. So I don't know. Or maybe, Todd, you're trying to say maybe I should drink coffee. I don't know. As jittery as I get it with reading, drinking coffee might actually hurt the stories more. But here, we're going to go to the next one. This one is entitled Tap Tap at the Window. I was a kid when this happened. My uncle and I were finishing up chopping / gathering firewood for my grandmother because it was getting dark. Driving back on a dirt road about 30 miles per hour, give or take 5, I had this awful sense of being watched. Before I could turn to look out my window, the passenger side, my uncle quickly shouted, "Don't!" I completely froze. My heart felt like it was beating out of my chest. Then I completely stopped when I heard a tap, tap on my window. My uncle sped up and loudly praying in a native language. I didn't know what was going on, and I thought it was over till our truck suddenly dipped from the bed. My uncle then started saying, "Look at me and don't turn away," over and over. Then I heard it again, tap, tap, but from the window behind me. It was getting harder for me to breathe, and I wanted to cry. A minute or two passed, and the truck dipped again. My uncle looked around and sighed. It was quiet besides the truck and the road. He looked at me and said, "We will ask your father to do a prayer in the morning, so that the evil will forget our faces." Navajo to English equivalent. I remember curling up on the seat and just started staring at the radio, watching the time, listening to my uncle sing an old prayer till we got to my grandmother's house. I called my uncle because I had a nightmare about it that night. We talked about it for a bit, and he said, "I didn't see faces, just eyes, like brake lights you see on the road. I watched you." Navajo to English equivalent. Before hanging up, I tried to joke with him about it. "Why didn't you just step on the brake when it was on the back?" No laughter, just a pause. "Because it wasn't alone." Wow, these are some, I don't know about you guys, I got chills reading that one. Just the thought that what he's saying is that they're traveling down the road doing about 35 miles per hour, and something is hanging on the side of the car or vehicle, tapping on the window, and then jumps to the bed of the truck and is tapping on the window and then jumps off. That, did that really happen, Boggs? Like, did that happen to you, or you, I don't know. I'm not the brightest light bulb, so. And the story made me jump a little too. I mean, these stories are making to where I will probably never travel at night again. Just gonna go ahead and say that. Okay, well, it's like I lost my place where I was at. Okay, here we go. The third story. Don't get off the bus. Great. This is not making me at all feel a little jumpy. So here we go. Anybody that has been on the Navajo reservation has either probably heard of some creepy things or has experienced pretty creepy things themselves. Namely skinwalkers. I have only seen one, and here's my story. I come from a small town in northern Arizona that's sandwiched between the Paiute Reservation in the north and the U.S.'s largest Navajo reservation in the south. My high school being so small, an A1 high school that has an average of 80 students enrolled every year, always had to travel south about 5 to 10 hours one way to play another high school in any sport. This means that we traveled a lot on the Navajo reservation. And we also usually stayed at hotels when we were heading out to play and come home in the morning. But this trip was a little bit different. I remember the basketball. I remember the basketball coach saying that the school didn't have enough money to put up the teams in a hotel. That this trip, hold on a second. Put up teams in a hotel that this trip, so we were going to be on the road for a total of 12 hours. I was the only male senior to play basketball. I cannot do this tonight. It's not baseball, it's basketball. So if I say baseball, it's basketball. Not their writing this time, it's my fault. Okay, here we go. I was the only male senior to play basketball that season. We had just got done playing our... Okay, it's a combination of his writing and my reading. It's not doing too well in this one. We had just got done playing our game and headed home on our bus called the Big Blue. We were heading out, and it wasn't long, about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours of driving before we had entered the res. By this time, everyone was asleep, with it being about 2 in the morning. When we had crossed the res's border, I noticed the bus driver had sped up and was now going about 85 miles per hour. I kind of thought that this was a little weird. I would have thought more than it was weird, but okay. I kind of thought this was a little weird, but he never exceeded the speed limit, and at least not in my high school career. For some reason, I couldn't fall asleep like the rest of my teammates. And I just sat at the back of the bus staring out across the desolate desert, looking at the landscape. It was lit by the full moon. As I looked out, I could see a figure running toward the bus at an angle of pursuit and keeping up with the bus at 85 miles per hour. As the figure got closer, I saw that it was a humanoid form. As a matter of fact, it looked exactly like a human, only that the face was painted half black and half white, with glowing eyes. Glowing eyes like a rabbit's eyes reflecting light from a spotlight. I immediately thought, holy crap, it's a skinwalker. The skinwalker ran up to the edge of the road and just kept up the pace with the bus, hurdling sagebrush and rocks while staring at me. After I made eye contact with this thing, I could not look away. It was as if something was holding my head and my eyes in place. The skinwalker just smiled at me, this inhuman smile that went ear to ear, showing crooked yellow pointed teeth. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I was panicking through the whole ordeal. The skinwalker started to crumple down on all fours, still keeping up with the bus. I could see its bones cracked and reformed. Hair started to appear all over the skinwalker's body, and in about 3 seconds was now a coyote and it ran off back into the desert out of view. As soon as it was gone, I ran to the onboard bathroom and puked a mixture of food and blood. I didn't want to tell anyone for fear that they would think I was crazy. I confided in my Navajo friend. She told me that I needed to see the chief, who also happened to be a friend of mine, and get a blessing. I saw him the next school day in the parking lot. He just came up to me and mumbled something in Navajo while waving a feathered skimter-like thing. He turned around and got back in the truck and drove off. To this day, I haven't seen another skinwalker. It might be due to the fact that I moved away from the town and the res. And if I do have to go south, I go around. Way around. I don't know what to think about skinwalkers, guys. I really don't. Because the stories are all so different. Sorry, I got a leg cramp, so I had to stretch. The stories are all so different and creepy. I don't know how I would feel if I was in the place of some of these people seeing these things. But if the bus is going 85 miles an hour and this thing is keeping up with you, it's disturbing, to say the least. I'm just going to be point blank honest with you. That is disturbing. Okay, I'm going to go into the chat and see what you guys are saying. If you guys are saying anything. Oh, I did miss anything. Night, Todd. You probably have already went to bed. I'm sorry. I didn't get to say night to you. Yeah, it's basketball. I was thinking that when I kept messing up and saying baseball and it was basketball. I kept thinking basketball. Now that makes me want to watch that movie. Thanks. Midnight, are you still in the chat or did you fall asleep on me? It is a movie. Basketball was done by the creators of South Park. So... you probably think it was a flashback. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to go to the next story because I think we got time to do maybe one or two more. You've never heard that movie? It feels like a stoner movie, but it's fun and I think I've seen it like a month or two ago. So, all right, we're gonna go to the next one if we can do this. The title already sounds like this one's going to be very interesting. So here we go. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, the title of this one is Stay Away from the Ruins of the Inquisition. So I already feel like this is going to be promising. If I get my throat cleared. This all happened about 5 years ago. One night, a few of my friends decided after a night of hanging out that we'd go on an adventure at about 3 a.m. We took a ride about 50 miles to the old Spanish ruin in New Mexico. That was that was once the seat of the Inquisition. I can't for the life of me remember what the place is called. So we jumped in the front gate to the place and started exploring. One of my friends brought a flute with him and started playing it. About 30 seconds into his mediocre playing, something started screaming. Sorry. Just got the monkey shines on this one. Just hold on. Anyway, I'm going to go back a little bit. Sorry. One of my friends brought a flute with him and started playing it. About 30 seconds into his mediocre playing, something started screaming really, really loud at the top of its lungs. The long, destroyed walls of the place echoed with the screams. It was going from wall to wall really quick, screaming the most blood-curdling scream you can ever imagine. We noped and got out of there. One of my friends actually peed his pants and drove for a few hours to the Bandelier National Monument, where we planned to camp out for the rest of the weekend. We got to Bandelier at probably like 6 or 7 a.m. and set up our camp. After a few hours just talking about what the heck happened at the ruins, I went to go to the bathroom behind probably only like 300 feet from the camp. This is where everything starts to get a little fuzzy. I remember seeing 2 dust devils coming my way, and when I turned around again, 2 of my friends were there, and they were motioning me to follow them. I couldn't help but to follow them, like I was being pulled behind them in shackles. I followed them for what seemed to be 10 to 15 minutes, and then I snapped out of it. These weren't my friends. They had bright red hair with my friends' faces and cat eyes. Both of my friends are brunette. I stopped walking, and they looked at me with probably the most terrifying gaze I had ever seen. Monsters in movies are nothing compared to this. I turned around and ran as fast as I could to get away from them. After like 5 minutes of a full-on sprint, I got back to the rock and I got back to the rock and found our camp. Everyone was there, still sitting around talking, and didn't even notice that I was gone. I told them what happened with the look-alike skinwalkers, and we packed up everything and left probably within 10 minutes and got the heck back to Albuquerque. I don't know. That story doesn't bother me that bad. I don't know. Maybe if the writing wasn't as good on that one, but I don't know. I guess maybe it's one of those deals. If you were in the situation, you'd probably be like, nope, and get out of there. But for me, I don't know. That one was okay. Let's go to the next one. And this will probably be the last one, guys, and then we're probably going to call the live stream, start wrapping it up, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what we're going to do. This one is called Convinced I Saw a Skinwalker. As many of you might already know, many Navajo people, including my own family, are very reluctant to speak about skinwalkers because it's believed to I don't know, I may not be able to do another one. Alright, let's try it. See what happens. As many of you might already know, many Navajo people, including my own family, are very reluctant to speak about skinwalkers because it is believed to attract their attention. Well, I, however, grew up away from the Navajo Nation and was very naive about the subject. When it comes to skinwalkers, I was an absolute skeptic. My mom used to tell a story of how back in the 80s, when she lived with her siblings and her grandparents, who still live in Shiprock, about how she and her aunt saw a skinwalker just outside their driveway under a streetlight. She described it as a black dog with dirty fur, a twisted noodle-like front leg, and these unnatural eyes with a soft burnt orange glow. Me, being my own closed-minded self, doubted every word. But I never said my doubts out loud. But these doubts totally changed last year when I went to my grandparents' house last October. Me and my family had just finished scouring the carnival at the Navajo Nation Fair and called it a night. The house was close enough that we were could walk home in just 10 minutes. So we did. When we got there, it was about 9 at night. 9 at night where we stayed up. Okay. But we stayed up to 2 catching up about family affairs and local news. It was during this time that I had just decided to open my mouth and blurt out the question. Hey, are skinwalkers real? Guys, I asked. You shouldn't be speaking about that, my grandmother said with this almost disturbing yell in her voice. So she and my grandfather both decided to go to bed. After being scolded by my mom, one of my aunts chimes in with a very cautious tone and says, They're real, all right. Had a few start screaming outside of my trailer in Farmington just a few nights ago. Your cousins had nightmares the whole night and woke up crying in the morning. Not wanting to push the discomfort any further, we all decided to go to bed. Now, the trailer/home is pretty old, and it was a really nice night, so we slept with the windows open, with the screens to prevent bugs coming in. Everyone had drifted off into a sleep, except me, because my mind was still going a million miles a minute about skinwalkers, and wondering if I ever encountered one while here on the reservation. As a kid, I was told it's taboo to think about skinwalkers because it can still call their attention. That's when crap totally hit the fan. Just as I was settling and finally getting relaxed for my sleep, I started to hear something moving outside. I get up from the couch and start wandering over to the kitchen window. In the trailer, all of the rooms have the lights out, so the only visible light that can be seen is from the porch light from out front. I was thankful for this because I told myself if it really was a skinwalker outside, then hopefully it wouldn't notice me seeing it. So I mustered up the courage and took a quick scan from outside. From the porch light, all I could see is the dusty ground and the vehicles that my family drove along, with some old metal trash cans that stood beside the road. Looking for about 5 seconds, I wasn't able to see anything. So I was getting ready to turn around and walking back to the bed thinking it was just a stray cat or something. Only after taking 2 steps, I hear what sounds like a distorted screaming coming from outside. Definitely close by. Fear rising, I look. Gosh, you guys scared me. I really thought there was a skinwalker outside my door here. Sorry. Let me go back. Fear rising, I look outside again, and there I see it. A coyote-like figure was staring at my direction from behind the cars. Can you shut that door?
Yes.
Because your TV is loud. Sorry. I'm back. Fear rising, I look outside again, and there I see it. A coyote-like figure was staring at my direction from behind the cars, just outside of reach of the porch light. Only it looked awful. It looked wrong, and it gave off an evil vibe just from seeing it. It was gray with a very disheveled hair, and horrific orange-red soft glow would come from its eyes. I noped the heck out and ran back to the bedroom. It was at this moment I had begun to also notice an awful stench in the air that smelled like rotting meat. I started trying to wake up my mom, who was like, "Oh my gosh, it's almost 3 a.m. What do you want?" I immediately began in a shaken voice, "There's something scary outside." Then she said, now annoyed because I woke her up, "It's probably just a stray animal or something. It's a res. Animals wander on and off all night." She obviously wasn't getting the drift of what I was saying, so I screamed, "There's some Blair Witch Project, some crap going on outside, Mom." That got her attention. "What? What the heck are you talking about?" she said. Then we heard it. The thing outside started moving more of its dreadful like screams and started howling and thrashing outside the ground. "Do you hear that? That's what I'm talking about." So both her and I got back up and looked outside the window, and the coyote-like thing was making its way to the door. It walked with an odd limp and dragged its back leg as if it was handicapped. We could hear it starting to scratch against the door and make this odd muffled moaning sound. My mom went and got my dad, and they both started shouting in Navajo all sorts of words, telling the thing to go away and saying it's not welcome here. With all this commotion, it was enough to get the rest of the trailer up as they came out to the hallway. The only thing my mom did was turn to me and said, "Skinwalker," while proceeding to point at the door. Noises still happening. Apparently they already knew exactly what to do, as my grandmother and grandfather got out a shotgun from a drawer, and a handgun from a drawer, and a bag of ashes. He coated a few bullets and loaded them into the gun and went straight to the door, yelling out more Navajo that was too fast for me to comprehend. He swung open the door and fired twice. Nothing. The thing managed to escape before my grandfather could put a bullet in it. "That's the fastest one I've ever seen," said my grandpa. Next thing you know, my aunts and my parents are freaking out about what had happened, saying stuff like, "What if it comes back tomorrow and it saw us? Does that mean that we're targets now?" Afterwards, my grandparents calmed us down, myself included, saying we'll be fine. We all went to bed around 3. Morning comes and my grandparents call one of their neighbors to explain to them what had happened. Apparently one of them was a medicine man who used to partake in the Yibi cheese, or chais, I think it's Yibi chais, Navajo ceremony used for healing and curing sickness, and came over to bless each family member and the grounds outside. Okay, guys, I'm gonna straight up. I don't know if you guys know a lot of the lore about skinwalkers, but if a skinwalker sees that you see it, you're considered cursed almost, and it will continue to stalk you if you do not get a blessing or have like a medicine man or chief come over and do it. So, okay, let me go back up because I probably missed a lot. Yeah, let me go. Oh, dang. I didn't know that, Daniel. Huh. Oh, man, I'm sorry. My mom, okay, my mom is one of those people that she has a fan that's super duper loud, and so she turns up the TV, and so she can hear them talking. So if they have like guns or something go off, the whole house gets to hear it. I don't know how half of us sleep through it, but it happens. So I don't know. Oh, dang. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Eat more cheese ceremony. They may have misspelt it, but it was stinking off. All right. I told you guys I was only going to read one more. All right. You twisted my arm. I'll read one more, and that's it. And then I'm going to call it night because I got to get up and work in the morning. So here we go. You guys ready? This one's called "It Nearly Got Him and His Brother." This is my father's story, written from his perspective. So here we go. When I was about 11 or 12, we lived in a small house made of mud and stone, a lot like our house now. It was 2 of my brothers and I in the house. Everyone else had gone to the feast and left us to tend to the sheep. We were getting ready to go to bed when we heard the dogs going crazy outside. Thinking it was nothing more than coyotes howling in the distance, we told them to be quiet. We began to drift off into sleep, and the dogs would not shut up. Somehow I was able to go to sleep after a few hours or so. Then I woke up very late in the night. It was very quiet and still in the house, except for my brother snoring and breathing. I realized I needed to use the outhouse. Dear Lord, how old is your dad? I'm not used to hearing about outhouses. Okay, sorry, I had to just go, what? There we go. We'll go back to it. I realized I needed to use the outhouse and woke up my brother to take me there. He teased me about being scared, which I certainly was. We went out with our flashlights to the outhouse. The dogs began with their craze barking out in the sagebrush, going from one place to the next. My brother went first and I waited outside for him. While waiting, I tried to follow the dogs with my flashlight. Suddenly, there was a very loud whine from one of the dogs. Then everything went quiet again. It was really too quiet for that time of the year. Not even the sheep were making noise. Suddenly, I heard a few of the dogs going completely mad by the truck. When I looked over, there was this man. He was unbelievably tall, leaning one arm on the cab roof of the truck. He was looking at the dogs for a little, and then suddenly kicking one of them. They all scattered in different directions. The thing looked up at me, and I saw its face. It had a pure white face like the full moon, 2 burning red glowing eyes, and a slight smile that was pure black. I could not move or make a sound. It began to walk toward me with long strides until it finally towered over me. All I began to see was dark red, like the color of blood when you cut the throat of a sheep. It kept getting deeper and deeper in my eyes. I could faintly hear my brother coming out of the outhouse with this thing looking up at him. Reality came rushing over. I noticed that my brother was too distracted with his buckle to realize what was going on. I also noticed that this thing's long hands hovered just inches from my head. Its skin was black ash, and he smelt like bloated dead animal in the summer. I was still unable to move or speak. The skinwalker began to move toward my brother. Finally noticing this figure, my brother became paralyzed as I was. Closer and closer it drew, reaching an arm out toward my brother's head. Something finally snapped in me, and I became unbearably angry. I broke from the trance and lunged at the skinwalker, raising my arms like a wild animal, baring my teeth at it. A growl came out that I never knew I could make. I became more and more angrier at the thing that was trying to hurt us. It kept that smile at first, but then it got angry. And I got angry. More the smile faded. Finally, with everything I had, I began to make the primal roar at it. It fell backwards and ran away into the night. Looking back at me, its eyes were dim and dull, its smile now long since gone. The next morning, the family returned home from the feast. After relaying the story to my parents, they quickly hired a medicine man to bless us and the land. Wow. What do you guys think? I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh gosh, what happened, Outrum? Oh gosh, sounds like your neighbor's a Karen or Kevin too. Wonderful. It's crazy how people are nowadays. I don't know, guys. What time is it? Here. It is 10:05. I think we're going to call it a night, guys. Because I'm tired. And I'm probably going to have, like, dreams of skinwalkers tonight. Which is probably not a good thing. But I'm probably going to have dreams of skinwalkers. So. Oh, wow. I love pit bulls. Oh, my gosh. I think Midnight must have went to sleep. Midnight, why did you leave me? I don't like it. You gotta build fences. I get to go to work tomorrow. Yay. How early are you going to be getting up, Daniel? For me, I'm going to probably be up at 5. Way to go, me. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. Oh, at least you get 6 or 7. That's better than what I thought you were going to say. I thought it should be like 4 in the morning. I was like, but I love you guys. I'm so glad that you guys came by the live stream. I'm sorry we spent so much time talking instead of reading Skinwalker stories. But I love talking to you guys, and we have such great conversations. So I enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm fixing to take some medicine and go to bed myself. I love you guys. I'm so thankful that you guys stopped by. I hope you guys have a great Friday. I will post little vlogs Saturday and Sunday, keeping up with you guys for the weekend. And as always, I love you. I will see you in the next video. Have a safe, wonderful weekend. Stay hydrated, stay warm. Stay safe. Don't get too upset about the election. And as always, I love you. Bye.